In this bulletin, new COVID cases recorded. Suva school principal suspended. And ministry warns there is a likelihood of new cases. And Rebecca Fiji. A 14-year-old girl and a 7-month-old child from Wanita Rawau settlement in Cunningham are the country's latest COVID-19 cases. Health Ministry's Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says the cases were confirmed following tests conducted on Wednesday night. The two recent cases are the children of the 40-year-old woman who tested positive yesterday. The ministry confirms the two, their mother, father and 3 other children have been safely transferred to the Navua Hospital isolation ward.
We believe there is little chance that she passed the virus to others. However, out of an abundance of caution, we will be running a screening exercise based on the daughter's movements.
Dr. Fong has acknowledged this family for being honest and coming forward with information.
I want to remind everyone that we identified this family because they made the patriotic decision to come forward and because they were honest with us about where they had been. Now, they will be getting the treatment they need and they will no longer pose a risk to others.
Both children initially tested negative on Tuesday, and the cases are regarded as latent, which shows that they've been put on isolation before they became infectious. Dr. Fong also confirmed the two were from the same cluster. Jose Yananunga, FBC News. The principal of a Suva school has been suspended for releasing the name of a Year 9 student who tested positive for COVID-19. The head of school had emailed all teachers informing them that the student had COVID-19 and everyone needed to come in for testing. Koroi Tandulala reports the individual has been suspended from duties until further notice.
The Education Minister in a statement says it is rather unfortunate that the details of the student had been released and is now circulating on social media. Rosie Akbar says school heads and teachers are cautioned to exercise confidentiality when dealing with issues related to child safety and protection. The Health Ministry also weighed in on the privacy issue, such as that of the 14-year-old student who tested positive for COVID-19.
Very disappointed that it's been circulated like this. I really find it disappointing. I really wish that people had more sense, that we would be a little bit more caring, that we would at least demonstrate love for everybody and not be this stupid.
The authorities are reiterating the need to eradicate the culture of stigmatization as it can put the entire nation at risk. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The Health Ministry is warning there could be more positive cases of COVID-19, and should it happen, it will be related to the super spreader funeral in Tawakumbu Lautoka. Health officials are classifying the funeral as the same cluster, which was exposed to the hotel worker from Nandi. The woman attended the funeral in Tawakumbu on Friday and Saturday last week. Pranita Prakash reports.
Approximately 500 people attended the funeral, and Dr. Fong says the risk remains high.
I expect that a lot more of those people that were in the funeral will turn out positive. That's an expectation that we all have.
Head of Health Protection, Dr. Alisha Sahu Khan outlines why there is a fear of more cases being detected.
We know that we've tested the first 69 contacts of the first cases, then plus 300 plus secondary contacts, and they were negative the first time around. But we know the virus can take up to 14 days before it shows up on a test or it even causes symptoms.
Health officials say the risk can be minimized if people take precautionary measures at all times. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
26,000 doses of the second batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived yesterday, and vaccinations will begin today. There is a set of timetable for vaccine registration starting from Fijians with health issues and workers in high-risk working environment. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong is advising Fijians to be patient.
We will be calling Fijians living with underlying health conditions that increase their risk of severe disease if they get COVID-19, as well as those working in high-risk professions, including retailers, hotel staff, drivers of taxis, minibuses, and buses. Members of the media in Suva and in the West, as well as parliamentarians and parliamentary staff, will also be called to come forward and be vaccinated.
Living in Tamabuiwai for more than 20 years, Taito Deve says he never thought that something called climate change would affect their lives. Deve says their village has become vulnerable to high tides and natural disasters. He says climate change is a daily challenge for them, and the planting of mangrove trees is what they are doing to keep their land safe.
Living here, the advantage is that the river and the sea is our main food source. It also generates income. However, with the current climate change crisis, it's a growing concern.
Up ahead, boost for the Konrobe Rugby and new dates for swimming championship. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Konrobe rugby side is extending its pool of players to include those from Taveuni, who have always been left out in previous years. The coaching team now represents the whole of the Konrobe as it continues rugby development in the province. For years, the Konrobe provincial side fielded players from mainland Vanua-Levu, leaving out Taveuni players.
For a long time, Taveuni players never played in the provincial side. They only play sevens. We used to camp in Sabu, but now we are here to develop 15s rugby in Taveuni. It's been non-existent for a while. We want to rejuvenate the 15s code here.
The departure of founder and coach Sermayam Bai left a void in the Eastern Saints team. Bai left his young team who are battling in the Ascot Shield to take up the role as head coach for Taileu Rugby. Captain Sakiu Sandelailoa Wanga says the players are adapting well to the leadership of the new coaches.
Just all in the mindset for the boys. This is it's not new. We've been training from October or November last year. The game plan is nothing has changed from last year. The boys still know what to do. They know their jobs.
Fiji Swimming has no choice but to push back its competition dates. Following the COVID-19 restrictions announced by the government, the Federation has resorted to Plan B. Venina Rakautonga reports.
The qualifiers won't be cancelled as it is a key event for the Olympic Games.
So we've chosen the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of May. Hopefully there'll be no lockdown then and we can host the Olympic qualifying event.
Teresa Chia says the Fiji Secondary Schools competition planned for this month will also be moved.
We've moved our competitions, the schools have moved their competitions to June. And like I said earlier, our Open Olympic qualifiers will be at the end of May and our age group nationals will now be pushed to July, the beginning of July.
Olympic hopefuls like Cheyenne Rover will be doing their individual training.
Competition is really hard. Everyone's trying to go for a different event and everyone's working really hard.
It is not known when the green light for sporting events will be given. Keeping this in mind, all other federations are making adjustments to their sporting calendar. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Cloudy periods with some showers and isolated thunderstorms over the eastern parts and the interior of the large islands. Elsewhere, find apart from brief showers and isolated thunderstorms over Lau and Lomaiviti Group, and expect moderate easterly winds, fresh at times, moderate to rough seas. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.